friends, and welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Leo, and this channel is about joyful, creative, mindful living, where I post videos on seasonal living, lifestyle, homemaking, books, recipes, delightful teapots, and lots of other cozy content. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, then subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos I upload. In today's video, we're going to be talking about seasonal spring recommendations for books, TV, movies, music, and also some activities. And I don't know about you, but after this long winter that we've had here in England, I really am feeling very joyful, a bit whimsical, and I can't wait for spring to start. So most of these recommendations I have for you today are a little bit whimsical. They're heartwarming and just lovely, and I thought that you would really enjoy them as much as I have been doing. So let's get started with the books. The first book I wanted to recommend to you is Anne of Green Gables. I don't know why I haven't read this book before. I've been reading it to my daughter and we are absolutely loving it. If you're not familiar with Anne of Green Gables, it's a classical children's literature book written by L.M. Montgomery, and it's about a young orphan girl who gets, through a mix-up, lands up at a farm called Green Gables. She's to be looked after by Matthew and Marilla Cuthbert. Now, this book is just filled with the most beautiful imagery and the most beautiful language around nature and around the seasons. And Anne is the most imaginative little girl that I have ever come across. She uses big words and she just lands up in the biggest scrapes, and the silliest things happen to her, and she gets involved in the silliest of things, and it's just heartwarming and beautiful and lovely, and we have been thoroughly enjoying it. We on page 205, and it is so heartwarming and it's so lovely. Just, I wish I had read this as a child. I would have absolutely adored it. The next book I wanted to recommend to you this season is called The Poems of the Seasons, and it is a book with illustrations from Gordon Benningfield. Now, Gordon Benningfield is an artist, and he does the most beautiful watercolor illustrations that are just so sort of misty and almost ethereal. There's lots of different ones throughout this book, and it just makes reading it just that much more lovely for the illustrations. There are poems in this book for some of the big names in the poetry world, like Alfred Lord Tennyson, Shelley, Wordsworth, and they're all about the different parts of the seasons. Things like about ploughing, about the primroses and spring flowers, and the snowdrop. I mean, how pretty is that image? How lovely is that? Just so sort of a little bit magical and a little bit dreamlike, and I do like that. Now, if you can't get hold of this particular book, I recommend that you search out a book on poetry of the seasons and put it next to your bed. This has been next to my bed, and I've been waking up and reading a poem every morning. Now, obviously, there aren't enough for a poem per day until the end of the season, but it's just lovely to read such beautiful imagery the first thing I wake up, rather than looking on my phone at Facebook or Instagram or something like that. So even if you can't get hold of this particular book, I would highly recommend that you try and get hold of one with some beautiful images about the seasons and sort of read those in the morning, because I really think that that's a lovely way to start the day. So a poetry book of the seasons, definitely the way to go for spring. The next book I want to recommend to you is a book written by Jennifer L. Scott, and it's called At Home with Madame Chic. It is part of the Madame Chic series. Which is a non-fiction series of books written by Jennifer L. Scott about her time in Paris when she was a student, and the things that she learned there about how the French live and how the French sort of incorporate that joie de vivre of their days, and how they make the most out of every day, how they make the most out of even the drudgery of everyday life, and how they make it, and how their attitude sort of makes their life enriched. This book, called At Home with Madame Chic, Becoming a Connoisseur of Daily Life, is about how you can make the mundane magical. Just listen to the back. It says, "You may think that being chic has nothing to do with the most insignificant and mundane moments of the day. Moments like preparing your meal, emptying the dishwasher, and paying bills. The secret is, those moments aren't insignificant. Au contraire, they are very significant. That's right, if you can change your attitude about making the pasta sauce, or choosing your clothes for the day, folding the laundry, setting the table, or dealing with the incoming mail, you can completely change your life." And that's an excerpt from this book. And you know, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just a seasonal thing, but after Christmas, you know, things always feel a bit flat to me. Like, I was really, really interested in and engaged in making the house beautiful for Christmas. And then after Christmas, once I've put everything away, it just all feels a bit blah. I don't know if you feel the same way. And I know there's been a lot going on for me this year with mum being sick and with my husband's diagnosis and just everything going on. But I've kind of felt like I fell out of love with my home, and I just felt like homemaking and being in my home, because obviously I work from home as well, has just been so dull. And I felt like everything's been a chore. And reading this book has helped me just to feel a bit more positive about it. One of the things I like about this book is that the day is broken up into what she calls the pleasures of the morning, the pleasures of the afternoon, and the pleasures of the evening. And the way she writes really inspires you to find pleasure in your home, to find pleasure in your daily routine and the things that you have to do, even if it is go to the post office and get the groceries, or, you know, just the basic things that you would do in every day. You really read this book and suddenly you find yourself enjoying these things in unexpected ways. And I really, really enjoy that. Reading this has helped me to sort of change my mindset a bit and to see these things as necessary, but also enjoyable, pleasurable. There are ways to enjoy our lives, even the daily drudgery. And I think this book is just a little spark of magic that I really recommend that you give a go. The next two books are about one of my favorite authors, and that is Beatrix Potter. So this book, both of them are from the library. This book is called Beatrix Potter's Gardening Life, The Plants and Places That Inspired the Classic Children's Tales, and it's written by Martha McDowell. I adore this book. I adore this book. I started reading it last night and it is exquisite. The book is about Beatrix Potter's life. It's about her writings. In this book are photographs from her life, are illustrations and paintings that haven't been seen in some of her books. And it is all about her love for the garden, her love for plants, and the way she got interested in plants. It's about how she completely transforms Hilltop Farm, which is where she is the farm she ended up buying when she was 40. And I've been there in the Lake District, and it is magnificent. It's if you haven't been there, go. Just go. It's wonderful. And I really loved this book. I'm still reading it. I mean, I read several books at a time, but I'm just loving this book because you really get a sense of her wonder at the world and how how the things she learned and the things she studied influenced her beautiful drawings. And I mean, just look at this. Where is it? I just passed it 2 seconds ago. I mean, just look at this. Those little bunnies. How cute are they? They're absolutely lovely. This is an enchanting book and it's well worth the read. I started reading it. I'm on page 65 and I'm loving every minute of it. The last book is also about Beatrix Potter, but in a different way. So this book is called The Tale of Holly Howe, The Country Tales of Beatrix Potter. This series of books is a series of cozy mystery novels with Beatrix Potter as the main character and all her animal friends as characters in the book as well. And I'm loving it. It's just adorable. It's a cozy mystery, and Susan really gets people. She's a people watcher, and I think Beatrix Potter was as well, because Beatrix Potter was quite introspective and a bit shy. So I think she watched people as well, and I just love the characters that she comes up with, and the setting is beautiful, absolutely beautiful, about the Lake District, where Beatrix Potter bought Hilltop Farm, and it's just, oh, it's lovely, it's heartwarming, it's cozy. If you like a cozy mystery, this set is for you. So let's move on to music. I love classical music and I love movie scores. Not only movie scores, I do love a lot of classical music, especially piano classical music. A lot of these songs are very whimsical in nature, and that's what I love about them. Some of them are really dreamy and lovely and just make you think of spring, like the first one, which is called The Secret Life of Dreams, from the Pride and Prejudice soundtrack. That's the Pride and Prejudice 2005 soundtrack. It is one of my favorite songs from that soundtrack, and it's just, it's that kind of, it kind of makes you think of waking up on a spring morning and just watching the sunlight dapple through the curtains. It's that kind of song. It kind of makes you feel like daydreaming, and I suppose that's why it's called The Secret Life of Dreams. But it's beautiful, and it's one of my perfect songs. You know, some songs that you listen to you think are just absolute pure perfection, and this is one of them. The next song I wanted to recommend to you is from the Emma 2020 soundtrack, and it is Poor Miss Taylor. This song is just so whimsical, and it's so it sounds so quirky, and that's what I love about it. I have two more songs on the list, and the next one is called Bluebird by Alexis French. Now, Alexis French is a classical composer. He is a classical pianist, a modern classical pianist, and his piano music is just exquisite. Literally exquisite. The song Bluebird is just, oh my goodness, I can listen to it on repeat for hours, and I actually have done. I actually have done since I discovered him about 4 months ago. I've made all these songs and a few more into a spring soundtrack that I'll leave down below in Spotify, where you can listen to them too. The last song I wanted to recommend to you, which is also in the playlist on Spotify, is The Merry-Go-Round of Life from Howl's Moving Castle. Howl's Moving Castle is a Studio Ghibli film, an animated film, and the song is just so quirky and so light and heartwarming, and it's so whimsical. It makes you feel like there's magic in the air. And I really love that, because spring just seems like a magical time to me. It's the time when the world is waking up and things are literally coming to life almost before our eyes. We can look outside the window each morning, and each morning the plants and life is coming back, and we can watch that progression on a daily basis, and I love it. This song is one of my absolute all-time favorite classical music songs, and I would highly recommend it. I will leave that playlist in the description box below, so that you can check out some of my spring recommendations, and those songs will be on the list. Let's move on to TV series. Now, I have 2 TV series to recommend to you, and one of them is, of course, Anne with an E, based on the stories of Anne of Green Gables. Now, the series, I'm about 4 or 5 episodes in, so I've not watched the entire thing. I've only recently discovered it, which is so totally me, right? I always land up, I never seem to watch things as they come out. I always find them later, and then I'm like, where has this been all my life? Anne with an E is lovely. It's heartwarming, although I will say it does deviate from the books. So if you're not the kind of person who enjoys deviations, then these two recommendations are probably not for you. I will say that Anne with an E is beautiful. The sets, the scenery and everything is just exquisite. There are some trigger warnings for bullying. There are some trigger warnings. There are a couple of scenes where we find out some of the homes that Anne has been to, that she has, of people she has stayed with as an orphan, and they have been less than safe for a child. But as a whole, I would say that the series itself is lovely. It's really beautiful. Possibly the book I would read no problem to younger kids, and really enjoy that. The series, maybe with some of the things that go on, it might upset younger children. So I would say that perhaps 10 upwards maybe, but that's obviously just my personal feeling on it. You know your child best. But as a whole, the series is beautiful. It's just lovely in every way. Despite some of the themes that run through it. The next series I want to recommend to you is Bridgerton Season 1 and 2. These are not for children. Disclaimer, these are not for children. If you have read Julia Quinn's books, which the Bridgerton series are based on, you will know that they are set in the Regency era, and they basically, each series follows a different child in the Bridgerton family. It follows a different Bridgerton sibling, in the Bridgerton family, and how they find love and how they find romance. If you have read the books, you will know that a lot of the books take a long time for there even to be any kind of kissing, or for the characters to get married, any kind of love scenes and things like that. So, but the series, I'm laughing because I thought that the series would be like the books, and that it would take ages and ages and ages for any kind of kissing or love scene or anything like that to take place. And I said to my daughter, oh, let's watch some of this. And I thought, oh, she might just get, she might just like to see some of the costumes and things, but I won't let her watch the whole thing. My goodness, if you've seen seen season 1 of Bridgerton, you will know exactly what I mean. I have never fumbled with a remote control, so I literally, my fingers just would not press the button to turn it off fast enough. It was hysterical. Well, I think it was hysterical. And my daughter was just like, Mum, she's 12. And I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my goodness, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I said with Anne with an E, these two series that I'm recommending are based on the books, but they do not follow the books exactly. So if you're a purist, these are probably not for you. But Bridgerton has the most exquisitely stunning sets, costumes, music, you name it. Pure fantasy. If you want to feel like you are back in the Regency time, going to balls, wearing beautiful dresses, this is the series for you. I mean, every aspect is just spot on, exquisite. Disclaimer, obviously don't watch with your kids. Do not watch these with your kids, okay? Let's talk about movies. These movies are just heartwarming. They're beautiful. They are aesthetically stunning, but also just so heartwarming. The first one I wanted to talk about is one of my new favorites because I only just watched it recently, and it's called Howl's Moving Castle. It is an animated story. It's a Studio Ghibli production. And it is about a girl who lands up being cursed, and she can't tell anyone that she's being cursed because obviously that's the condition of the curse. But her appearance changes so completely that she can't live where she is. So she lands up running away and lands up on Hal's moving castle, and how she gets involved in Hal's life and Hal's home life, and how she helps him to break his curse is how she lands up and breaking her curse. And if you like stories and movies about magic and about love, then definitely Howl's Moving Castle is for you. I watched it, and then I watched it with my daughter, and she loves it as much as I do. The next film I wanted to recommend is Emma, the 2020 version. Now, I love this for spring because the aesthetic is completely and totally beautiful, quirky spring. The colours, the scenery, the outfits, the homes, everything is absolutely beautiful, exquisite from an aesthetic point of view. If you are a Jane Austen purist, which I am and I'm not, because I like to see the different variations and the different films, what they've come up with. Like, for instance, I love the 1995 Pride and Prejudice, but I don't mind the cinematography and the slight changes of the 2005 Pride and Prejudice. And I know, don't come for me, okay? I know that some people will just lynch me at the bare thought of even entertaining the fact that I might love the 1995 version and the 2005 version, but I do. I love them both and I enjoy them. However, the 2020 version, I can just about scream. Because Emma is a slow burn kind of story. It is about Emma, who is a spoilt, entitled young lady who lives a life of absolute luxury, and how she matchmakes in other people's lives and how she gets involved in other people's lives trying to match them, but she never matches herself. She doesn't think that marriage really is for her. And she has a friend, he is a bit older than her, Mr. Knightley, who is a neighbour, who is often at her house, and they love each other, but she doesn't see it, and she doesn't see it until much later. But it's one of those stories where when she does see it, she's completely and totally like, how dumbstruck. How did I not see this? And it's only once she realizes that he may love somebody else that she realizes she's in love with him. And I won't spoil it for you, and I won't give away why I don't like it, but if you are an Emma fan, you will know exactly what it is I'm talking about, okay? I like my confessions or profession of love scenes to be completely and totally purist and beautiful and lovely, and this one it just ruined it for me. But from every other kind of aspect, if you love beautiful scenery, stunning costumes, stunning stately homes, brilliant acting, this one is for you. So you've been warned. The last movie I want to recommend to you is Mary Poppins Returns. Now, if you've read Mary Poppins Returns, the book, this is nothing like the book. And thank goodness for that, because the book is a little bit creepy. I'm just gonna put that out there. The book is a little bit creepy. I started to read the books to my daughter, and I was just a bit like, wow, this is a little bit strange. But Mary Poppins Returns, where do I even start? I loved every single aspect of this movie. The music score is amazing. The acting is stunning. The singing, Emily Blunt, she's just a masterpiece. She is, dare I say it, don't tell Julie Andrews, she's better than Julie Andrews as Mary Poppins. Although I loved both films, but costumes, music, cinematography, storyline, just 10 from Len. If you watch Strictly, you know what I mean. It's a complete and total 10. I absolutely love everything about Mary Poppins Returns. It's beautiful and it is worth a watch. 100% worth a watch. Let's talk about spring activities. Spring is definitely the time of year to embrace everything floral. Plant some pretty flowers in your garden. Plant yourself a cut flower garden, or just plant up some baskets with some violas, maybe some strawberries, and some beautiful little flowers that can just cheer up your home. Buy yourself flowers every week, even if it's a bunch of £1 daffodils, and put them next to your bed, put them in your living room, in your kitchen, in the bathroom. Put them everywhere in your home. Dress in florals. Get your floral dresses out and put flowers in your hair and bows, and be a little bit whimsical this spring. Get some of the books I recommended and read those. Get them from the library. Read out of doors. Read in some beautiful parks where there are some flowers and the spring birds are out and you can watch nature. And last but not least, why not cook, bake, and eat flowers? Yes, you can eat flowers. Some flowers. Not all flowers. Only some flowers. Have a look at edible flowers that you can eat and make sure that you know which ones they are and decorate with them. Use them on the tops of cakes. Use them in salads. Use them to decorate platters with when you're having people over. For a cheese platter, for instance, put some violas in between. Rose petals. Rose petals are edible. Use them in your bath. Get some lovely roses and give yourself a rose-strewn bath, or decorate with them. Use them in cooking and literally enjoy flowers all throughout the spring. Get some floral teas even and enjoy eating flowers. But obviously make sure that you have checked out that you can eat the flowers that you are intending to eat. Those are my seasonal recommendations for spring. If you've enjoyed this video, friends, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give me a thumbs up so that I know that you enjoy this content and that I should do more videos like this in the future. Thank you so much for watching, friends, and I'll see you next time.